You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about New England Patriots head coach Jerod Mayo. Now, he's opened up mouth, insert foot, over some comments he made a couple of weeks ago about free agency spending. And now Jerod Mayo looks like a complete idiot. He fired up the Patriots fan base thinking, oh, Patriots are about to go out and spend some money. We're about to solidify this team. Unless we're not, and you got to walk back to comments. Now, we got to remember something about this guy. You know, he did not have a coordinator job, all right? And part of being a coordinator is to, in part, deal with the media. And what I'm saying by the media is talk at press conferences, etc., talk to the radio, talk to members of whoever. Now, I don't think that's a big deal, except if you're not aware of what you're actually saying or what's coming out of your mouth. And look, as much as I was rooting for the Patriots to spend some money, I thought his comments were sort of childish that he made about spending money. Oh, we're going to burn some cash. And I'm thinking, man, we are a long, long ass way from Bill Belichick and that professionalism, aren't we? Or any other head coach for that matter. I mean, really, I thought it was a terrible look. Well, we got all kinds of things to talk about involving what I call the DEI hire of the New England Patriots. So, New England Patriots head coach Jerod Mayo and head of personnel Elliott Wolf both had spoken at length about installing a new culture and a new way of operating in New England. You know what I also don't like? Why do you guys keep throwing shade at Bill Belichick? And I understand you're trying to come back now and say, no, we're not throwing shade. That man gave you an opportunity to do the things that you're doing right now. That's a direct result of Bill Belichick. And I don't know how it could possibly be lost on Jerod Mayo that he's in that position because of the success that happened under the Belichick regime. And again, I thought it was wise to replace Bill, but at the same time, you didn't hire a GM, which I still don't get, and you didn't truly do a search at head coach. So it's a bad move. Mayo said, quote, he doesn't like echo chambers and expressed a desire to knock down silos and collaborate. What has that got to do with football? Wolf admitted there's more of an open, less of a hard-ass type of vibe at the Patriots. You do realize you're playing football? ? You do know that, right? At the Patriots facility, both used the words, quote, different multiple times in their introductory press conference. There's a reading of those comments that doesn't reflect well on former head coach Bill Belichick. Mayo and Wolf appear to be spotlighting all that was wrong in Belichick's old regime. On Wednesday, however, Mayo pushed back on the narrative that him and the Patriots are taking veiled digs at their former boss. Okay, so now you're having to walk back two things that you've said lately. So now you're having to walk this back because, yeah, it looks like you blatantly took a shot at Bill Belichick, who's supposed to be your mentor, and you look awfully ungracious right now. Quote, look, it's going to be different, but at the same time, I would say Bill did a great job for a long time. A great job? He's the GOAT, dude. Just let it be known. Of coaches, that guy's the GOAT. Mayo told reporters, including our Patriots insider Phil Perry, at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, I don't want you guys to take this just because we're changing as shots towards the previous regime. Previous regime? You are part of that regime, dude. I mean, I don't get it. You act like something, literally nothing changed outside of what? Steve Belichick, Bill Belichick leaving, and you actually, you brought in Alex Van Pelt. But everything else, Elliott Wolf's still there. Matt Grove's still there. For all the talk about change in New England, there ain't been a hell of a lot of it. Except possibly hiring incompetent coaches. Quote, in saying that, We will do it differently. It'll feel different. But at the end of the day, we would like to replicate the success that the prior regime had. So I learned a lot from Bill and also his staff, but now we'll see what this chapter looks like. I'm telling you, I think this is going to be a disaster. I think this is going to be a disaster. And I think Robert Kraft's going to take a step back and be like, I probably should have ran a whole coaching search here. There was rumors that he really wanted Mike Vrabel. That was a home run hire for them. But then he didn't want to back off of the fact that he already gave Jerod Mayo or told Gerard he'd have this job. It shouldn't matter. This is, these are professionals. This is, the entire league's full of a bunch of lines, so I don't know what the problem is. New England Patriots head coach Gerod Mayo hasn't been on the job for that long, but he's already taking back a comment he made about the team's free agency plans. And what's sad about this, look, Gerod Mayo making the comment he said raised expectations among Patriot fans. All right? And now that he's walking that back, well, you're now sending shrapnel back to your owner, who a lot of people thought was cheap to begin with and didn't get a very good report card on, by the way. Now, again, something we should point out about those report cards, we don't necessarily know who has grudges and who doesn't, but it is sort of indicative and does give you an idea of how players feel. Mayo poured a bit of water on his quote from January that the Patriots were, quote, ready to burn some cash in free agency this offseason. The head coach admitted that he got a bit carried away when he saw how much the cap space the team would have via Karen Gugarin of Mass Live. I kind of misspoke when I said burn some cash, but I was excited to see those numbers, Mayo said. But when you reflect on those numbers, you don't have to spend it all in 1 year. Why not? This team is, especially on offense, devoid of talent. It is devoid of talent. And I understand you want to re-sign Winu. I'd bring him back as one of the best right guards in the league, or as a competent right tackle. He can play both. He just can't play left tackle. And I might bring back Kyle Duggar and get some of those kind of contracts done. But you got some other places. You got to get some offensive line help. I'm understanding that even though T. Higgins is going to be franchised, there may be an opportunity there for a sign and trade. Well, I thought he was the number one receiver on the market, and I only put him ahead of Mike Evans because of the huge age difference. But I think T. Higgins is a number one on a team he's having to be a number two. Quote, this is a process, so I don't want people to think you've got $60 million, $70 million, or whatever, so let's just get this guy, get that guy, and that guy. It may work for a couple of games or maybe a season, but it won't work long term. I do agree, but this team is so devoid of talent, you just need solid players on offense and some playmakers. Even though Mayo is signaling that the Patriots might not spend as freely as he once indicated, they have plenty of cash to use. Following the announcement that the salary cap would be just over $255 million, the Patriots are set to have $86.9 million in cap space. Pardon me. They can easily get over the $100 million in cap room if they released struggling corner J.C. Jackson. There's no point of bringing that dude back at all. And we know the Colts are going to franchise tag Michael Pittman. He was going to be a big get. T. Higgins is getting franchised, but again, there may be an opportunity there to do a sign and trade, and I do think he's a massive get. If you're not going to stay and draft Marvin Harrison Jr., which I'm not too sure you shouldn't do, I'm also not too sure you shouldn't draft Joe Alt. If you got a place to get a chance to get a Tyron Smith kind of, Trent Williams kind of left tackle, that's hard to pass on. All right? You can still come back, take a Michael Penix Jr., take a Bo Nix in the second round, trade back in the late first, draft one of those dudes. Trade back in, draft J.J. McCarthy. You know, I think Jaden Daniels, and I love the kid. And I was like, I don't know if I drafted, but I'm telling you, I do love him. I just think the Commanders are going to take him. And then I think it's going to be Drake May. And I don't know. I don't know that I'm doing Drake May there. Drake May he may turn out to be Josh Allen, and there's been some of those comparisons. But he feels a lot more like Blake Bortles. Ooh, I said that out loud. Yeah. So, anyway, you get my point here, okay? There's something about him. Had an all-world wide receiver the year before last in college. Struggled hitting some throws. You get my point, all right? I don't mind the veteran quarterback action, Jimmy or Jacoby Brissett. Probably Jacoby because of the continuity with Alex Van Pelt. Sorry, I had my mouth worked on, a little surgical action yesterday. But the point is, I don't mind that while you're grooming a second or third round QB. But draft speed, draft playmakers. I swear, I would draft. If I did a sign and trade for a wide receiver, I'd still draft 2. And then the rest would be all tackles and all guards. I would put this is a no defense draft. Let's put it that way. You got to remake that team on offense badly. It's a bad look for Gerod Mayo to have jumped out there, made those comments initially, get the fan base all fired up and all worked up after watching games where they could not score at all, and then walk those comments back. It's terrible. And that just shows you the lack of experience. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.